What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. Sometimes when I'm in production, like for instance, you see down here at the bottom of your screen, this green, that's one of your videos processing, all right? After production, it's done. So sometimes when I'm in that state, I don't have anything to do. So sometimes I'm done because I go back to my life and I got other shit I'm doing. Or if I'm home and I'm going to be home, then I may decide to go into production on another video. All right. Or sometimes, like right now, I've been doing a lot of talking and a lot of reading and a lot of searching and data stuff. So it's just like a break. So I just, whatever catches my eye, I look at it, you know. And that brought me to this dude. Now, y'all know I cannot stand the fuck out of this white devil. Alright? But it's not misplaced. Like, there is a reason for it. Like, people scratch when they itch. I'm not justifying my distaste for the people who have oppressed my people since before I fucking came to Earth. And I'm still receiving that shit in my own lifetime. I make no apology. But I always tell you two things can exist in the same place. I have preached to my audience. Throw out either or. Throw that out. And start adopting both and. You see? Both and. Two things can be true at the same damn time. If you are intellectually mature. And that's what brings us to this. Now, I also am always consistent to tell you, we accept truth no matter what the source. Truth is our first foot. It is the most important thing, and it is always our pursuit on this channel, as it is in my life. Know this. So, this brings us to Senator Jaiz. I hope I'm saying it right. So, because this dude can speak truth, that means all they white asses are faking. That means all of them, when they're denying that there's police brutality, that they're denying the centuries we've been held back, when they're denying the absolute systematic institutions that are currently in place, specifically designed to hold us the fuck back and to the left and down. You see? When they're denying all of that, we can say, well, you're lying about it. You're just lying. We know you're a liar because we've heard one of you say the truth. So what we love is this truth. And what I love and why I am provoked to bring it to you, it's worthy to bring to you, is because it's not just rhetoric. He absolutely means it. I know this enemy. I know they ass. I can see through them and I can see down the street and around the corner. But more than that, you guys know that I have a sixth sense. I'm clairvoyant and I feel energy. Add that talent to knowing this enemy and having lived all over the country and know their ass in every expression. I know when I'm looking at the genuine article. I know it. And you will know it. But not because I say it, but because it will speak to you. Because what my grandmother always said from the time I've been on earth, what comes from the heart reaches the heart. It's like sonar. It's like a dolphin moving through the ocean. They send out sonar. It comes back. That's what guides them. And that's the only thing that can come back to them. It's got to be that. It must be that. Otherwise, it's meaningless. It's like a rock going past. It means nothing. And I'm someone who lives from my heart. Every expression of me is right out of the core of my being. You know this. So if this was fake, I would say listen to his fake ass and blah 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 blah. I'd keep it 100. But alas, he is genuine. And to white people everywhere, your ass needs to hear him, and this is the song you need to be singing. Anything else is bullshit, unacceptable, and fake, and it falls flat and fails in the face of the Jedi. And all of my people. I speak for all of us. Yes, all of us. You claim you want diversity. You claim you want to get along with African people. You claim you want to, you're doing all this claiming, but we never hear you speak. Ever. We don't hear it. And silence is complicity. Even under the law, you and I go into a bank. You knew I was going to rob the bank before I went in there. I robbed the bank. You don't do anything at all. You're just with me. You go the other direction. When we come out of the bank, you don't even get in the getaway car. They come to get your bitch ass. Because you're an accessory before, during, and after the goddamn fact. You're going to jail, and you will be sleeping with Bubba. Oh yeah. So, you are an accessory to the genocide, oppression, murder, degradation, and denial of an authentic human existence to African people before, during, currently. I indict you. I indict you. But the court is merciful. And so there's a chance for you to expunge this and come out with a clean record, even after all your hate and vomit. And that is to write this word down: acknowledge. Acknowledge. You know how I spell it? ACKNOWLEDGE. Acknowledge your shit. And most importantly, or equally at least, acknowledge the suffering that your people have and are causing our people. Many of you don't want to say shit because you are that, so you'll never say anything. Then there's a little tiny fraction that was spotted on an island of you who just feel like, well, it's not me, so I don't need to say anything. But yes, you do. Yes, you do. And your voice is the most important. And it doesn't make you guilty by acknowledging our shit. What it does is it shows that you, the individual, it will let us know automatically because we are very intelligent people and we're able to make deductions. It will be absolutely given and assumed. You'll be given the benefit of the doubt immediately. We know you're not one of them. 1,000 snakes come slithering at me. They're all king cobras. Huh? A bunch of them bite me. But there was these ones that were marked in green for some weird reason. They had this green pattern on them. And they went past me. I'll remember that those ones didn't bite me. I know that they're a cobra, just like the rest of them. But those ones meant me no harm. They just went right on past me. They just went right on past me. So you are in the pack of cobras. You are a cobra. But now you must show us like this gentleman, that just because I have the markings of a cobra doesn't mean I have to act like one. That I can allow truth and acknowledgement to come across my tongue and mean it. And mean it. And mean it. You see, this is the pathway to peace, where there is not a 24-hour around-the-clock vitriol that is unspoken between Africans and white people. Doesn't mean that overnight we will sing Kumbaya and invite you around the campfire. Doesn't mean that. But everything has a pathology, because nothing just becomes. Everything has a point of origin and a developmental stage, and then it becomes whatever it is. But you gotta build. You see? Because we have never, ever, 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 infinity ever, and I speak for every single one of my people, man, woman, and unborn child, when I say to you this next statement: we have never, ever, infinity ever hated you because of the color of your skin. Ever. That is from my mouth to the divine, all-hearing ears of God. Every African person on the planet agrees with me on that right now. What we do hate is what you have done that changed the entire trajectory of our existence on this planet. You need to understand how profound of an evil that your people have perpetrated against ours and continue. If you do not want to be marked with our death ray of hatred over what you have done and do, then you've got to show that you are one who does not do, does not agree with what is done, does not intend to do, and will speak forward and out loud and be seen saying it. Yes, we are some bullshit. What we have done and continue to do to African people in this nation is some bullshit and a disgrace to all of civilization. And I, white person, A, B, male or female, young or old, don't co-sign with this shit, and I'm not gonna be part of that. I don't agree with that. I don't expect for black people to come leaping into my arms, but know that I have no animus towards you, and my arms would be open whenever the time came that your people would accept me, the innocent, among my own. There's no one that could hate you for that. No one. And again, I speak for all of us. So, as much as I talk about your people, and in very truthful, unkind tones, this is someone I could have a conversation with. This dude. That is somebody I could have a conversation with. I'm linking both of his videos because I came across him by accident. And this video is from 2016, which was even more impressive because he was saying this in 2016. You see? And he could have just sat on his white privilege and denial and all the other bullshit that you dispense. But he didn't. And he put his face and his voice out there that even someone like me would acknowledge his sincerity of the message that he's delivering. Because truth is like a perfect concerto. You see? It sings. And if there's one note wrong, you recognize it. You go, wait, that's not it. This is supposed to be an E minor. Somebody's playing like an F or something. I can't do this. But then there's also this one that he did from 2017. It was like a follow-up, because he was even surprised at the response that he got from his video. You see? And this one he has just over 3,000. On this one, he has 85,000 views, but he still only has 782 subscribers. So he's not, so he's not a numbers chaser. And there's a whole year between the videos. If he was a numbers seeker, he would have just been start doing just that, and he would put them out back to back. We know when we're being pandered to. We know it. But I'm linking both of his videos so that my people and white people specifically, because you're the main ones, he's preaching to the choir with us. We know it, but so do you. But we're going to allow that maybe some of you really are that feckless and so privileged and so set aside and aloof from the black experience that you have no idea. I'm going to give you that. I give you that. That's fine. And so that's even more reason why you need to watch him. Because what we know as African people, we could say something for centuries, but it has way more impact when one of your own says it to you. It's kind of like the whole neighborhood's telling you your wife is cheating on you. And you're calling them all kinds of names and like disassociating with people and tell them to go to hell and get the fuck out of my life, and you were never a friend and I hated you always and blah blah. And then that heifer comes home one day and says, I'm cheating on you. Now it matters. Because it came out of her mouth to your ears. So now you have no more cushion of denial. That's been snatched. And that's what these two videos do. They snatch away the cushion of denial. Because the pathway to reconciliation is through a door called acknowledgement. There can never be reconciliation without acknowledgement. Doesn't matter what the conflict is, who the parties are, what their relationship is to each other. Doesn't matter. There can never be reconciliation without acknowledgement. And we are not a people who have anything to acknowledge, because we've been on the shitty end of the stick. You see, the abuser, the oppressor, the enslaver, the terrorist themselves must come forth and acknowledge the truth before there can be reconciliation. It's the only door. It's called acknowledgement. Acknowledgement. They must be the ones who come. And you must say it to us. Because when you hurt anybody, in any way, for any reason, no matter what the degree, that person who has been injured needs to hear you say why you are sorry. An empty sorry means nothing. May not even be directed at that person. You're just saying it. Like if it's Merry Christmas or something. But when you're specific, I'm sorry that I hurt you when I did X, Y, and Z. That lets the offended party know you know exactly what we're talking about. We are on the same page, and that indeed you are contrite, that you are sorry. It begins with communication, but that communication must have a foundation of acknowledgement in order for there to be reconciliation. So the 2 links are in the description box down below, and it's the perfect thing to bring because this Colin Kaepernick thing is the quintessence of your vitriolic, feigned ignorance and disregard and dismissal of our people. That you would go to every other subject on the earth. Well, it's got to be about gopher holes. It must be about pollution. It must. No. It's about fucking police brutality, bitch. That's what it's about. But you pick it's the flag, it's the troops, it's patriotism, it's the veterans, no. It's white fucking cops murdering black people, and there being no consequence for that. That's why Colin Kaepernick was kneeling. That's why. So deal with the issue. And that's what he's doing. Dealing with the issue. Understanding it, articulating it back to us, and acknowledging it. You're not going to just snap your fingers and we're going to forget about all the shit you've done and continue to do with us and everything's just going to be fine. That's what many of you want. A magic wand, like Glinda the Good Witch is just going to land in her bubble, wave the wand, and we're all kumbaya. It's never going to happen because you must walk through the door of acknowledgement, not us. We don't have any fire to walk through. You've got to be able to hear that and accept that because that's absolutely the truth. You see? Change is not easy. And the poisonous history that exists between blacks and whites is long and storied, deep and diverse. It's got a lot of moving parts to it. A lot of moving parts. You are going to have to walk through the fire. Stop victim shaming. Stop blaming. Stop pointing fingers and denying. Start acknowledging what is truth. And you will see you will get a hell of a lot further with African people, even just in your own personal life. I give you that as a guarantee. 100% guaranteed, lifetime guarantee. That's not hyperbole, it's not drama. And I'm not being funny. We need the majority of your people to be like this dude. And that's not what we see. In fact, I'll read you quickly what I typed to him. I wrote, I make no secret that I don't like white people. And see, you got to be able to hear a statement like that without getting your hair on fire. Because if you could take 5 seconds and put yourself into my shoes, but it requires you to educate yourself and know your history. Know your demoness history and all the things that your people have dispensed and continue to dispense upon us. Without making it about you, the individual. Then you would say, well, of course they would have every reason to hate us. Of course. And I don't begrudge them for that. I don't begrudge them for that. Because when you begin to understand, then you will come to a place where you go, I don't understand how they're not out massacring us every damn day. How is it they're not on our ass? Wow. So you got to be able to hear our truth. even though it casts you in a bad light. You gotta be able to hear it and receive it and acknowledge it. You see, that separates you from the rest of the cobras. So I begin. I make no secret that I don't like white people. And part of the main reason, a little redundant, is that they can never acknowledge the damn truth. Your video is refreshing because it is not pandering, it's honest. That is the only way that African people will ever be able to even begin to not hate white people. I feel like you are, unfortunately, a very tiny minority, maybe even an aberration. That's it. The day the majority of whites are speaking the way you are, and most importantly, acknowledging the real suffering, pain, and history of African people, that will be the day that we see the change that whites only give lip service about. I will personally share this video with all of my followers. Continue doing this, because no matter how many centuries and generations we try to get white people to see the truth, in parentheses, which I feel they know the damn truth and just don't give a fuck because the shit's not happening to them. But no matter how many generations we try to get white people to see the truth, it takes one of their own to say the same shit we are saying, because at the very least, it takes away their attempt to deny reality. So keep telling the truth. Thanks. You might be the one white person that I don't have to hate. And I kind of meant that tongue in cheek, if you will. You see? But this is essential. You see, we can talk about race relations all damn day and have forums on CNN and Fox every other damn month and all the... that's not doing anything. Until white people acknowledge that they are the cause and the root of the issues that face us, one race to the next, there will never be progress. There will never be progress. You've got to walk through the door of acknowledgement. Because then and only then can there be reconciliation. So watch both of his videos, both links. They're in no certain order. Both links are in the description box underneath this video. I will be interested and open to hear responses, particularly from white people that may happen to see this. Let this be an example for you. Let this be an example that doesn't hurt to tell the truth. It doesn't cost you anything. You won't melt away and turn into dust. You won't break out in hives. Nobody's winning anything over you. Just tell the damn truth. Because that is how, as a collective, black and white, we begin to lay a pathway that would even make it possible for there to be reconciliation and thereby a relationship in the future of our children and our generations to come, to lay a pathway that can even begin to set the stage for there to someday be a relationship that up till now has not existed between Africans and white people. It's just been a getting along and talking around and walking around and past each other. This is the longest contentious relationship between a group of people ever in the history of civilization, I would proclaim to you. The longest. It holds the record. And all it takes to begin to fix and make possible a bridge is acknowledgement. An honest acknowledgement of, wow, we have really been shitty to these people. Wow. Because that will begin to affect and infect the actions of white people. So when you have Walter Scott running away from a police officer who has now entered the conversation of honesty and acknowledgement, recognition, he can then see him in his whole incarnation. Maybe even imagine his day up till that moment. And he doesn't pull that trigger now. And then go over and lay the weapon next to the dead body after he shot him in the back. It's a little harder, just a little harder, to abuse someone that you know. It's a little harder. Just a little harder. Suddenly, all the profiling begins to one day subside and eventually vanish. That when Botham Shemjon is murdered in cold blood in his apartment, that you won't go and start looking for excuses and reason why this ridiculous Wizard of Oz fantastical story told by the murderer could possibly be true. You will immediately have a recognition and an understanding of the ongoing centuries of acts like that against African people. That even empathy will enter your being. And you can, just like the Africans, say, that's some bullshit and I don't stand for it. And that I, as a white person, know that if that were different and she wasn't white, this would be different. And you can be just as outraged as us, because that's the side where righteousness is. That's the side where truth is. Instead of seeing us as a complaining group of people that just want to have something to whine about for nearly 500 years, you will understand these damn people are tired of having to bitch and whine about the oppression and injustice against them. And isn't it amazing, now that I understand where they're at, I can understand how amazing it is that they're not just walking into white people's houses and just murdering them in cold blood. I really can see. I really can see. I don't have to carry the burden of my people in my daily, day-to-day existence. But at the same time, I can be conscious of the fact, through no fault of my own, that I am a part an inheritant of a group of people whose actions towards these people has been absolutely savage. And that does not make me, the individual, guilty. I see it. Not because I necessarily have to feel that I owe them anything, but that I owe it to the truth. I owe it to the truth to acknowledge the truth. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. This is the Jedi.